All right, wheel life cycling, guys. Smoke. Lots and lots of smoke still. Third week of smoke here in Nevada. Crazy, crazy shit. I want to talk about the Eddie Merckx 2000 I think this Team SC. I bought this new and had it built with Campy Super Record. I think it was in 2000. 99 2000 year. And this is a really nice light bike. SC 7000 Scandium Easton aluminum with a carbon fork. Okay, here's the fork. So I'm cleaning it and re-greasing it. I haven't done it for a while. And I bought some new Synchros bars, and I want to tell you guys a little secret what I want to share. Now, I have some knowledge in the machine industry as a machinist for several years, and I had schooling for it and the like, so I have somewhat of a machinist background. So I know a little technical to get me out of a bind. So when they built this head tube, when Eddie Merckx factory built this, they took these races that were Campy Super Record, and they actually just fit like a loose fit, and the pushing down on the carbon spacers from the compression plug holds this all together. However, with that being said, the bottom as well as the top has some movement. It has a little play in the side to side of this, okay? And knowing what I know, I don't want any movement at all. So I came up with an idea and I said, well, let me try this. So I cleaned this up with a 1000 grit sandpaper, just clean all the material off of here. And here's my idea. Now, I am going to use a sealant gasket eliminator 518 sealant flexes with flanges. Okay? And what they say on this is that it fills gaps up to 10 thousandths of an inch. Cures in 1 to 8 hours, outstanding properties on aluminum and cast iron parts, non-corrosive to aluminum. So, with that being said, here's what I'm going to do. This is going to take up the space. Now, I think they actually put, some kind of something in here at one time. But I am going to add this to the head tube. I want to eliminate all kinds of movement, okay? Any movement. So I'm going to put this in here, and I'm going to take my finger later and smooth it around. Okay, so my finger's clean, and so what I'm going to do is just give this a slight smear all the way around, getting all the sides everywhere, okay? Okay, now, I need a rag. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this seat, and I'm going to seat it in, and it feels as if, it's seated nicely. And I want it, make sure it's flat, so, and there is a little angle inside. A taper, if you will. So, that's what my idea is. It's a sealant and flexes with flanges. Now, it's not like Loctite that will, make, it's not going to be Loctited like completely in there where it can't ever move, okay? But it's going to be sitting more flat against the taper inside. So it's pushed in and it's down, and I'm just going to let that dry for a while, for a couple of minutes, and then what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and add my headset. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grease this headset. Okay, so here's the headset, guys. So how this works is there's a seal at the bottom. Let me show you. And a race. It's built in. So we have the race here, and it has a rubber gasket at the bottom. That keeps the dirt from coming past the race. And then this bearings sit on the race, okay? Now, yes, there are certain ways that the bearings fit on the race, absolutely. And it's real simple. You try one way and it won't work. Like, for example, if I turn this over, it won't work. You can see that this will not sit into the cup part, so it needs to be turned over. So, but before I do that, I've already greased up the upper one. So I'm going to put that aside right now. Okay, and now I am going to get, now this is old Campy grease. I've had it for a long time. It's very expensive. Campagnola made its own grease, or named it. I don't even know if they made it. They probably just bought it. And it's a real high-end grease. It's probably one of the, I mean, I've never had a grease that's so awesome. And I've had this for 30 years, believe it or not. And I've had it in the tub, and it'll go with me for another 20, I hope. I bought that when I owned a bicycle shop. So remember, guys, I had a bicycle shop, so back in the 80s, and I knew how to fix bicycles, of course, because that's what I did. I had to fix bicycles for me, for my shop, for sales, and the like. Okay, so now that I greased it up, I'm going to fit it on top of the race and let it sit on here, and then I'm going to add a little bit more grease around the race. So I got some in, so I push grease in the balls and in the housing of the on one side, and on this side I'm just going to go ahead and fill more of the grease. I mean, you can use a Q-tip with this, you can do whatever. I'm just packing the grease into the balls. You know, we don't get a lot of friction on these. These are basically turning. They're just for turning. And that's about it. So, you know, there's not a lot of wear and tear on headset bearings, to be honest. I mean, there is, but there's not like bearings on a wheel, okay? All right, now I got that all set. I am going to fit it over the stem, and I'm going to fit it down. And let me go get a rag and wipe off my hands. So at this point, I'm going to put this camera over here so you guys can actually follow along and see. I mean, this is not difficult, but I think I can do that right here. So I got my forks, I got the bearings on here, and I'm going to insert into the head tube, okay? Carefully that I don't move the upper race at all, because I got it in there and I don't want to hit it and pop it back out. Okay, so that's in. At this point, I'm going to put the bike down on the forks. what I'm doing right now will assure that it'll assure now that I'm going to go ahead and put the stem on here in the top race, and it'll assure that I got everything pulled down. So let me grab the other race and the other bearing. This is the other race and the other bearing. So I'm going to drop this down over the head tube, the steering tube. And take off this grease too, because I don't want any grease. So, I don't know if you guys know this, but there is a carbon paste they sell that you need to put on your joints, okay? You got to keep the carbon clean and put the paste on, okay? So here we go. We got the headset in. Now, also, when you cut a carbon to fit your head tube, you need to seal it. A lot of people use nail polish. You can use urethane. Nail polish is actually pretty good. It just keeps the water from wicking down on the carbon. So far so good. Now at this point, I am going to get the remainder of the items that make up the head. Okay, so give me a second. Now, being that this bicycle has a tall top cap, okay, and so right now we got a plastic piece that fits into this part here. It goes over the head tube, nice and snug. Okay, it fits right around this head tube really nicely, actually. And you slide it down into the bearing, to the race, I mean. Okay, here we go. So what happens is this here is spring